Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and join me tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck. And Hartsey was here before the show. I'm not exactly sure where he went, but he'll probably be back. And we invited other people as well to come on the show. So, if they come, that's cool. If not, oh well, there's always next time. Oh, there's Hartsey because I just heard the popping noise. So we'll get him back in here. There. All right. So there's Hartsey. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world to talk about. The Blue Jackets get two big wins. They beat the Flyers 3-0, and they absolutely smoke the New York Islanders 6-1, destroy them. There was a lot of good moments in those games. We're going to talk about that. Jack Greaves, he has been playing awesome for the Blue Jackets. He's really stepped it up, and we're going to talk about that. What does that mean for the Blue Jackets now and the future? We're going to talk about that. The Blue Jackets, according to multiple reports, are going to get another defenseman prospect. That is Russian prospect Nikolai Makarov. He'll be signing a 2-year deal with the Blue Jackets and will be coming to Columbus over from Russia. What does that mean for the Blue Jackets? We're going to talk about that. We have some fun goal highlights to share and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome in. I was just getting around to making the usual podcast posts over on Twitter and whatnot. Hope everyone had a good week. We didn't have quite as many games this last week as we normally do, but there were some good games. And although the Blue Jackets did their part in winning that game to try to get to the playoffs, unfortunately, then Montreal Canadiens did beat the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's the way she goes. Good luck to the Washington Capitals. Their first round going up against Montreal. So let's go. Let's at least knock a Canadian. Let's see a Canadian team get knocked out right off the rip. You got it, Ovi. I believe in you. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a pretty eventful week with the season wrapping up, the regular season. And who knew that at game 81 that anybody would be talking about the possibility that a snowball's chance in hell of the Blue Jackets getting into the playoffs. And they tried, but yeah, close, but no cigar. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about the game, so then we can talk a little bit about the season, a little bit about the players, contracts, Jack Greaves, all the other fun stuff here too. So the first one. So Hartsey, we'll have to get your input here on this one a little bit too.
No.
Unfortunately.
No.
So on the 15th, that was last Tuesday, the Blue Jackets beat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-0 in Jack Greaves' second NHL shutout. And yeah, I'm sorry, dude. It's the way it goes. Now the first period was played pretty good by both teams for the most part. There was there was 2 penalties by the Blue Jackets. Nothing came of it. But then second period started, and I'm assuming that was a phone vibrating, not a fart. Either way, it's whatever. But Fabro came in. He got his 8th goal of the season to start off the score in the second period. 2.5 minutes in, then Kent Johnson took advantage of a power play, and it wasn't until the third period where Adam Fantilli got his 30th goal of the season, and that was it. That was the scoring. It was a pretty one-sided affair. Blue Jackets 34 shots on goal to the Flyers 29. Jack Greaves got number 1 star of the night. Fabro got number 2. Nothing major in the penalties. No one was getting feisty with each other too bad. I don't know. This was a really solid game for the Blue Jackets for me. I think that this is this was really showing possibly like what they could have been looking at doing in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't have much. I mean, it's a good game. I don't have how much else to really say about this. Kev, what did you think?
Overall, that was a pretty good game that the Blue Jackets played there. 10 out of 10, one of the best games they played all season long. You know, good competitive first period between both teams. There's no score. Both team goalies making big saves to keep each other's team in the game. And then in the second period, the Blue Jackets have a 2-goal second period. They get one from Dante Fabro, and then they get one from Kent Johnson. And I'm going to show the Kent Johnson goal because I liked it. It was, they scored it on the power play on the road, which if you've been watching the Blue Jackets this season, you know that for whatever reason that generally speaking, the power play on the road is awful. And they don't really score a lot of goals on the power play on the road. For whatever reason that is, I don't know, because when they're at home, the power play is good and they score goals. So I don't get why you can have a good power play at home, but then your power play is not very good on the road. I don't get that, but it is what it is. So for the Blue Jackets to get a goal on the power play on the road, knowing that you are not very good on the power play on the road, was awesome and a big step for them. Very important that they got that. That made it 2-0. And then in the third period, Jet Greaves locked it down, made some big saves to keep it at 2-0, gave the Blue Jackets just a chance to just keep going. They stick to their game plan, and eventually they get a goal from Adam Fantilli. And honestly, Fantilli wasn't even trying to score a goal there, to tell you the truth. And I'm not being disrespectful to him or anything. I'm just saying, when you watch the replay of the goal, Adam Fantilli was not trying to score a goal. Because what you can see is Marchenko, he has the puck, skates it in the offensive zone, and he's kind of in a shooting position to make it look like he's shooting it. But then at the last moment, he passes the puck. And who he's trying to get the puck to is he's trying to get the puck to Dmitry Voronkov. And the puck does not get to Dmitry Voronkov. What happens is when Kirill Marchenko passes the puck bounces off of Adam Fantilli and it goes in. So that's how Adam Fantilli scored that goal right there. Still a good goal. As long as you put it in the net, you score a goal. That's what counts. So it counts. And 30th goal. So good on you for that, Adam Fantilli. And Adam Fantilli made a little Blue Jackets history, which is this right here. I'm going to put this up on the screen. So, Adam Fantilli becomes only the second player in Blue Jackets history to get at least 30 goals in a season in his second season. He joins Rick Nash as the only other player to do it in Blue Jackets history to score at least 30 goals in his second NHL season. So that right there is pretty good. If you can say that you've done something that Rick Nash has done, that's pretty good right there. And it shows good potential and good promise for what Adam Fantilli can be if he's doing something that only Rick Nash has been able to do in Blue Jackets history. So now, it now reads in the history book for the Blue Jackets, players to score at least 30 goals in their second NHL season. It now reads Rick Nash and Adam Fantilli. And then after that, Adam Fantilli gets the goal, and then the Blue Jackets locked it down. They played good defense. They didn't really give the Flyers anything much to shoot at, and that was basically the game right there. So overall, it's a pretty good game there by the Blue Jackets. 10 out of 10. Definitely one of their better games they played all season, and it was great to see. And like you said, Hefty Duck, the Blue Jackets, you got to give them credit. They did what they needed to do, which is to stay alive in the playoffs. They needed to win all of their games. They did that. They did that. However, though, unfortunately, Montreal beat Carolina, and they needed Carolina to beat Montreal, and that didn't happen. And that's why you're not, big reason why you're not in. Next week's show, we're doing a season preview show, and we're not going to get much into it today, but we're going to get into all the reasons why the Blue Jackets didn't get into playoffs, how they can improve, stuff they were good at, and a bunch of other stuff. But overall, pretty good game there. 10 out of 10 by the Blue Jackets. And since we have Hartsey here, our good Flyers friend here, I would like to get his perspective of the game.
Sorry.
Boys, I'm going to be honest with you. I was at that game. I was expecting a completely different outcome. But the Jackets absolutely locked us down. It's a shame. It's a shame. But honestly, if it meant Columbus making the playoffs and not Montreal, I was gonna be fine with it. I was gonna be fine with it because fuck the Canadians and fuck Montreal. But as a Flyers fan who wants the Flyers to win, I was very upset. But considering I'm on a Blue Jackets podcast and I am outnumbered, I'm not going to say too much. They played Columbus played, they played a good game. And they played like a team that actually had something to play for. And, considering the Flyers are a bottom 5 team, there's not much to really go for here. I mean, maybe, I can't say the Flyers weren't trying, but I mean, you could just
Did
say
you
the
guys
Jackets, just wanted to win more tonight.
was there a bunch of young guys that they threw out there? Kind of how they do at the end of the season sometimes, because I mean, Philly was not trying for a playoff spot.
Well, they had they brought in a kid from Michigan State, Carson Duarte, who
Right
has been all right for the Flyers so far. Other than that, it's been the same group of guys, and honestly, I think the Flyers were just playing for pride and dignity, and the Jackets were playing to keep their season alive, and it showed. It showed. So
I get that.
yeah, I mean, look, they did. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they did what they needed to do, and I can't be too upset at them for it. Even though I really wish the Flyers had won that game.
Yeah.
But because I am a Flyers fan, I don't know if you guys knew that.
But
that's why I put you on the spot so hard here. Well, your team lost. Sorry,
dude. Your team lost. Fuck you. Get wrecked. But no, it was they. Like I said, the Jackets had something to play for that night. The Flyers didn't. Yeah. They went out there and they played their best hockey, and Jackets just played better. That was it. They locked in, and they locked the Flyers down. And
yeah. Well,
that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to finish this beer.
I understand.
Hartsey, how would you, I'll ask you this. I want to get your thoughts on this. How would you think that Matvei Michkov did this season?
He definitely showed that he is NHL ready. He's NHL ready. He's ready to play in North America. He did damn well for a rookie who has not really played on North American ice, playing with, the harder hitting, faster, more skilled guys that the NHL provides. And, he did his part. He's
26 goals, 37 assists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good numbers.
He's a jolly good rookie, and I look forward to seeing him in year 2.
Yeah.
And he
So
should win the Calder this year.
I do
Fuck
want to
Clayton
play this.
Hudson.
I do want to, yeah, I do want to play this. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. So Adam Fantilli got asked about the goal he scored after the game against the Flyers, and the bait. I'm paraphrasing it, but the question was, "Oh, was that like a, explain your goal? Is that like a good lucky bounce or something?" And I'll play the video so you can hear Adam Fantilli hear it, but basically Fantilli's like, no, that was he thinks because his grandpa recently died and his grandpa, like the Flyers, that from his perspective, that he thinks that his grandpa helped him out with that goal. And we're going to play that video so you can hear Fantilli talk about it. So here we go.
The way your goal went in, is that just a sign of sometimes you're hot and puck just goes the right way for you?
No. Yesterday I flew back to Toronto and I buried my grandfather, and his favorite team was Philly. It's going to sound like I'm joking when I say that, but I swear his favorite team was Philly. And coming back, I'm pretty sure that one was him, just giving me a lucky bounce there.
So there you have it. There's Adam Fantilli talking about the goal he scored against the Flyers, and that from Adam Fantilli's perspective, he thinks that he scored a goal that day against the Flyers because his grandpa helped him out, which I think that's pretty cool.
I appreciate his grandpa helping out the Flyers tank. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Fantilli.
Yeah. So Heartsy or Hefty Duck, any thoughts on this?
I like the sentiment. That's funny. It's a good outlook he's got too. I mean, I know it's never easy. Hearts, what are you eating? It's cool. It's cool. We're good. I'm just playing.
But
anyway, I think it's pretty funny.
But continue, Hefty Duck. What was it?
That's all. I thought it was funny. And I wanted to yell at Heartsy. But yeah, we can go on to the next game.
Heartsy, what you thinking here about this video?
Yeah, it's a heartful, wholesome moment. It's Adam Fantilli. He's been definitely one of the brighter stars for the Blue Jackets this year. So, whatever helps him scores, I'll believe it.
All right. So there's that. All right. So now, on to the next game, which we'll be talking about, which is the Blue Jackets just absolutely smoking the New York Islanders 6-1, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Their domination continued. They almost pulled off another shutout, which would have been sick. It's the home game for the Blue Jackets. They wanted to end this season on a bang. No canon pun intended. Jack Greaves making 36 saves is unreal. This guy is the Blue Jackets goaltender. I mean, without a doubt in my mind, I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason. I don't know. Something's going to happen. We're going to talk about this here in a while. But, like, the dude, he's got what it takes, in my opinion. And he's one-way contract. So let's bring him up. Let's see him every game. Anyway, but the Islanders did hold off the Blue Jackets in the first period. But then in the second period, the cracks started to show. And Cole Sillinger got an unassisted goal 2 minutes, 21 seconds into the period. Favreau, then Voronkov, then Corrali, and finally in the second period, for the fifth goal of the game, Zach Werenski scored, making it 5-0 going into the third. Going into the third, Hudson Fasching scored his second goal of the season for the New York Islanders. And with number 31 for the season, the very last goal of the season, how fitting, but none other than the man, Adam Fantilli himself. Mm-hmm. So, great game. One penalty in the entire game. First period, Denton Mateychuk tripping against Islanders. And once again, another fantastic game. I don't exactly remember what happened for them to score that one goal, but the Blue Jackets this season were 3-1 against the New York Islanders. They beat them 3 times. They shut them out once. And yeah, what do you think? What's the grade for this one?
Okay, so overall, pretty good game there for the Blue Jackets. 9 out of 10 because you gave up a goal. 10 out of 10 games are reserved for you play a good game, you win the game, and you don't give up any goals. That's 10 out of 10. That's my criteria. So this game was a 9 out of 10 because they played a good game. They won the game, but they gave up a goal. So I got to ding you there for giving up the goal. But otherwise, that's really the only thing that I can criticize the Blue Jackets for that game is you gave up a goal. Everything else about that game was a good game. And if you are not going to make the playoffs, that's the way to do it. That is the way to go out on a bang, go out on the high note, play a good game, win it, and say, you know what? Good game, and let's focus on next season. Build on that momentum. And that's exactly what the Blue Jackets did right there. Is it, you know what? First period, not a lot going on there between either team. But then, like so many times that the Blue Jackets have done this season, is that they have that one good period where they score 2, 3, 4, and in this case, 5 goals in the period. And then you look back at when you look back at the game and say, oh, they played a good game and they won the game. And when you look back, it's, because they had that one good period where they scored like 2, 3, 4, 5 goals, and that's why you win. And that's basically what happened right there, is that second period, you score 5 goals, and that's the difference in that game. That's why you win that game, because you score 5 goals in the second period. And honestly, in my opinion, at least, I think that's the best second period that the Blue Jackets have had all season. They came out in that second period. They came out strong. They really started playing really good, really hard, played with a really good purpose, and they just took it to the Islanders. They dominated them.
Too.
Yeah.
No penalties, very clean.
No penalties, nothing. Like, they just played a good period. They dominated the Islanders, and they really just took it to them. It was just awesome.
There's very few hits this whole game. 8 hits for Islanders, 9 for the Blue Jackets. That's like some of the least amount we've seen all season.
Right. But in part because I just think that as soon as it was 5-0, I just think there was really, you're probably, my opinion, if you're the Islanders, you're probably thinking, well, we're down 5-0, we're getting smoked, so hitting this probably not going to make that much of a difference. So, why do it anyways? And so good second period, just outstanding, probably the best second period you've had all season long. And then you get another goal in the third period, Adam Fantilli. I'm going to play the clip of that goal because I just loved it. It was an awesome goal. Islanders have their puck in their defensive zone, and they think they're going to get it out. And then Fantilli, it's a good defensive play from Adam Fantilli, where he just basically kind of like poke checks the dude, and he takes the puck from him, and then he shoots and scores. It's like a snipe. It was just an awesome goal to make it 6-1. Like that. Like Dean Evison has talked about this a lot, that he always likes to show a lot of the clips to the guys. Okay, sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's good. But it's good to see the clips both ways, so that you have a better understanding of what's going on. And in my opinion, if I was Dean Evison, I would show that Fantilli goal as a clip next season and say, okay, guys, this is how I want you to play. You play good defense like Adam Fantilli did in that play. You make a good defensive play, poke check, take the kind of like the puck away from the dude, and then you shoot and score. It was awesome, and that's what I would show as a good positive example of this is what happens when you play good defense. When you play good defense, you get a chance to score, and that's what they did. So it was awesome. 9 out of 10 game, pretty good game there. And if there is a way to go out on a bang, that's the way to do it. And it was just a good game overall by the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can only imagine where they really were Montreal to have gotten defeated in the previous game, and they were going for the playoffs, how much more intense that would have even been yet too. I mean, they played like it though. In my opinion, I think that they played like. I mean, maybe there would have been a few more hits here and there from them. That's just playing aggressively and whatnot. But yeah, and yeah, we've already talked about this on the show. Like nobody expected them to be where they're at right now at all, including myself, including the majority of everyone here on the show. Yeah, the preseason predictions were not like this high. Like I said, talking about playoffs at game 81, possibilities and stuff like that. So absolutely big, huge congrats, huge props to the Blue Jackets as a whole, as an organization, individual players. We all know this wasn't an easy season for anyone. It never is. And it really hasn't been for the Blue Jackets the last few seasons, but especially, due to the tragedy of Johnny Gaudreau passing away at the beginning of this season. This one seemed to mean a lot, and you could tell that it meant a lot. And, just congrats for all of them for, putting up the Dukes, fighting for it. And realistically, like giving, I mean, how many times have we all been saying like, oh well, there's always next year, there's always next year, there's always next year,
right?
But not only are the players fighting for it, but now we have coaching and general managers going in a different direction too, just having that fresh outlook. And I just want to bring up something too. I mean, I don't know exactly all the man days lost because there were some like pretty bad injuries on the Blue Jackets this year, but for the first time since the 2018-2019 season, 4 Blue Jackets players played all 82 games. 4. Last year, there was 1. That's Ivan Provorov. The year before that, there was nobody. Not a single person played all 82 games. And the years before that had to do with the pandemic. So even though some played like all 56 games or all whatever, full 82 game season, just saying that played 82 games in the season. That's a lot of games to stay healthy for, to do everything for. I mean, just get banged up for a little bit. You don't want to sit out like one game. Like no one would blame you. No one thinks twice about that.
No.
But just looking at that today and like looking at the last few years, like that's that. To me, that's a good sign. The strength and conditioning is going well, although I just saw the strength and conditioning coach for the Blue Jackets was let go recently. But in any case, it's just looking really good in my opinion. Good outlook.
You're right there, Hefty Duck. The thing is the Blue Jackets were not supposed to be this good. They were not supposed to be where they are right now today. If anything, they should have been what most people were thinking what they were going to do is have another, let's say, top 5, top 6 pick. But they didn't do that. They did much better than that. They did better than people expected. They exceeded expectations. They were so fun to watch from first game to last game. And the fact is that, like you said, Hefty Duck, the Blue Jackets were fighting for a playoff spot for 81 games. For 81 games, you could have made the argument that the Blue Jackets could make the playoffs in some way, shape, or form. That is something that you could not have said about the Blue Jackets at all the last couple seasons. You just could not make that argument. And if you did, people would look at you funny because what are you doing? You just can't, you could not have made that argument. The fact is that you could have made that argument for 81 games this season is outstanding. It is awesome. It shows how much progress the Blue Jackets have made. It shows how far they've come, and so much positive momentum and positive energy that they have built with this season is exciting. And now you get to see where they go with this. How do they build on this to take that next step, which is, okay, you've shown that you can be more competitive. You've shown you can be better. You can be more good. You can be competitive night in, night out. You've shown that you can fight for a playoff spot. Now the next step is build on that and get your ass in the playoffs. And then once you get into the playoffs, you take it from there and you see how far you can go. Because the thing is with hockey compared to other sports is that you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. You can get knocked out quickly, or you can go on a heater and you can go on a run to like the conference finals or the Stanley Cup final. Anything can happen if you get in.
You get swept first round by the lowest seeded team.
That's right. The Blue Jackets, the 8th. But that's a perfect example of that. The 2018-2019 season, the Blue Jackets are the 8th seed. The Lightning are the number 1 seed. 128 points, 62 wins, just a ridiculously good season for him. And you would think that the Lightning would have been one of those teams that got into the playoffs and they're fighting for a Stanley Cup. You would have thought that they would have been one of those teams going to like the conference finals or going to the Stanley Cup, fighting for a Stanley Cup, maybe winning the Stanley Cup. You would think that. But none of that happened because the Blue Jackets smoked them 4-0, swept them. Out you go. Thanks for playing. Because hockey, once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. Anything. Well, Heartsease Flyers, they won in a shootout on the last day of the season to get in. And then they go on to run to the Stanley Cup final. Anything can happen once you get in. So overall, would have been nice to get in the playoffs. Absolutely. It would have been interesting to see how they would have done, how far they would have gone. Maybe they get knocked out quickly, or maybe they go on a heater and they go on a run. We don't know. That would have been nice. But putting that all off to the side, it is still a damn good season, an awesome season, an outstanding season for the Blue Jackets, given all of the circumstances, the Johnny Gaudreau situation with him unfortunately dying and his brother unfortunately dying, and then people thinking you're not going to be very good, and you did better than that. And then you got all of this hoopla and just extra attention because you have the outdoor game and all this just stuff. All this attention was just so squarely focused on the Blue Jackets that if it went the other way and it wasn't a good season, yeah, it would have sucked, but people would have been like, yeah, well, that sucks, but we'll give you a freebie. We're not going to rip on you too much, and we'll look the other way. When you have all that just attention on you, it could have gone the other way, but it didn't. So would have been nice to make the playoffs, but still a damn good season for the Blue Jackets. You did better than expected. Fun to watch, and now they have like $40 million in cap space, and see what you can do with that. Build on all that positive momentum that you did and just go from there.
That's Mitch Marner money.
They really do. They have this cap space to work with there, and got some background noise going on your end. But they have this cap space to work with. They can weaponize that here in the offseason. Waddell seemed to already. I mean, he knows he has a game plan. He knows what he was doing. Now, talking of cap space, you bring up a good point. There's a lot of contracts to sign between now and next season. I believe I've seen someone post about this before. There's 23 contracts between the Cleveland Monsters and the Columbus Blue Jackets that are going to need to be taken care of. Just looking directly at some of the Blue Jackets players. I'm just going to go through here real quick. I'm going to read this. It's a good segue to a good topic here. I just want to go over this real quick, and then we'll, we can. I know Kevin's got some clips. So Luke Cunnan, 2.75 mil this year, UFA. Sean Crowley, 2.5 mil, UFA. After this season, Christian Fisher, UFA. Now, some of these names might not be as familiar to some of you, and that's because they were like just low-key pickups off waivers, parts of trades here and there. But anyway, Christian Fisher, 1.13 UFA. Justin Danforth, 1.1 UFA. Dmitry Voronkov, 925K RFA. JVR is 900,000 UFA. And how handy was that pickup? That was probably one of the most like per dollar valuable pickups on the entire team this entire season. I don't think a lot of people expected a 35-year-old James Van Riemsdyk to come in and play as well as he did. Unfortunately, Kevin LeBanc was sidelined with injury. He's 775K. He's also UFA. I think he played well. I don't know what his future might like. It could lie. But Zach Aston-Reese has one more year, then he's UFA. Ivan Provorov, 4.72 mil. He is a UFA. Dante Fabro, another quality pickup, who definitely proved his worth. 2.5 million UFA. Jordan Harris is a 1.4 RFA. I don't think that. I'm pretty sure they'll probably get something worked out with him. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. And then Jack Johnson, UFA, 775. He's 38 years old. I would, I haven't heard anything about retirement in his future, and you'd think that if he was going to retire, maybe they would have played him there at that last game. But he'll be 39 years old next season. And there's very few people, other people in the NHL who are that old. Not calling you old, dude. You're like literally a couple years older than me, but that's old for the NHL. And we'll see where he goes. I would love to see him stick around the Blue Jackets organization. Maybe do something like what Rick Nash did a little bit, like go out, like meet potential players. Who knows? Maybe he could be some sort of coach for something. Yeah. Who knows? Then Daniil Tarasov is 1.5 mil. He's an RFA. And then, so something's got to get figured out with him as well. Now, here's some non-rostered UFAs. Joe Labatt. I'm going to say Labatt, right? Yep. He's a UFA. Dylan Gambrell, UFA. Those were two pickups from Waddell earlier this season. Trey Fix-Wolansky is a UFA, but he's a Group 6 restricted. And if several conditions have been met. So Owen Sillinger, Cole Sillinger's older brother, he's a UFA. Then we got some other like younger guys: Samuel Nazco, RFA; Damon Hunt, RFA; old Julian Bjorzovic-Holm, RFA; Cole Clayton, RFA. We don't have to mention Tim Burney anymore. Sorry, dude. Come back and play for the Monsters, dude. You know you want to. And Zachary Sawchenko, goaltender for the. He's a UFA as well. So that's a lot of contracts, man. And they have the cap space. I mean, if they signed everybody right now for exactly what they would have made last year, there's still tons of cap space.
Yeah. The thing, but just because you have all the cap space does not mean you can just be stupid with it. You do have to be smart with it, though. And I do believe Don Waddell, he is going to do that. He's not going to be stupid with it. He's going to be smart with it. But that's something I do see all the time. It's not just a Blue Jackets thing. It's just a sports thing in general, where it's like, oh, we got all this cap space. We can do this and this and this. And it's like, yeah, but you got to be smart with it because you don't want to be, be stupid with your money and then be like, man, we really need help with this. And it's like, well, I agree with that. You do need help with this, but then you're stupid with your money and then you can't afford that guy that you really need to go get.
Or that guy doesn't pan out.
Yeah,
Like, it goes to Montreal or something later.
Yeah. So, taking a little shot of Patrick Line. I like it. Good.
Little one.
I like it.
How he
Hey, we were defenders for so long.
No, you're right though, Hefty Duck. We did defend Patrick Line for a lot, so we did. So it's okay to take a shot at him. But
Lance tried to be so subtle with that. Kevin just fucking. Hey, you're talking about Patrick Line. Hey, I know that guy. Hey.
Well,
But
But
guy's talking about Patrick Line. He just screams out of his window.
I don't mind.
He opens his window, yells out of it, "Hey!"
My money and I need it now.
But you do have to be smart with the cap space, and you don't want to be stupid with your money. And I do think Don Waddell is going to do that. Not going to be stupid with the money. He is going to use the cap space wisely. Interesting thing about Tim Burney is that in the event that if he ever comes back to the NHL, because he's playing in Europe right now, but in the event if he does come back to the NHL, the Blue Jackets get first dibs at him because they gave him a qualifying offer. And so because of that, they have his rights. So if he ever does come back, oh, you tried to leave the NHL thinking you wouldn't play for the Blue Jackets anymore. And then some hypothetical scenario, if you come back, it's like, haha, surprise.
Now that they're winning, right?
If he did, it would be like, surprise, guess what? The Blue Jackets own your rights and we get first dibs at trying to sign you. And then if the Blue Jackets didn't sign him, then he could sign with someone else. So just throw that one out there. Anyways, I want to put this up on the screen. The last 6 games, the Blue Jackets played really good defensively. They had a plus 22 in goal differential in the last 6 games. So Blue Jackets just played really good defensively by having a plus 22 goal differential.
Damn. That's sick.
And, you mentioned, how come, maybe they could have put Jack Johnson in there for a game. Well, that's why, because,
The recipe's good. You don't want to mess with it,
Right. If it's good, you don't want to mess with it. And last 6 games, Blue Jackets went on a heater, played really good. They went 6-0, and they played really good defensively by having a plus 22 goal differential in the last 6 games.
Hell yeah. That's sick.
Another stat to share, which is this. The Blue Jackets went 22-1 when Adam Fantilli scored a goal. You heard that right. I will say it again. The Blue Jackets went 22-1 when Adam Fantilli scored a goal. Just ridiculously good. So, other than that one time, it was basically a guaranteed win for the Blue Jackets when Adam Fantilli scored a goal. Just ridiculously good. Just wow. Just ridiculously good that Adam Fantilli scored. When Adam Fantilli scored a goal, the Blue Jackets were 22-1. And I'm also going to put this up on the screen. Okay, so this tweet, it's a little outdated because it was posted before the Blue Jackets Islanders game in which Adam Fantilli scored a goal. So I will update this as I'm reading this. But in the 40 games that the Blue Jackets won, Adam Fantilli scored 30 goals. In the 42 games that the Blue Jackets lost, Adam Fantilli scored 1 goal. So if Adam Fantilli scores, ... So basically, again, going with the 22-1 theme there, if the Blue Jackets at 40 games, the Blue Jackets won. Adam Fantilli scored 29 goals. Only scored 1 when they lost. He only scored 1. So if you are playing the Blue Jackets this season, strategically, you better hope that Adam Fantilli does not score a goal, because if he does, it was 9 times out of 10, it was basically a guaranteed win for the Blue Jackets.
That's sick.
So, Hefty Duck, your thoughts on this?
That's cool. I can dig it. If they can continue that in the next season, then that's amazing.
So
now, obviously, a couple of games he scored more than once, so
yeah,
that's why it's not 31 games instead of
right.
And it's crazy thinking about that too, because like he's such an important player at such a young age.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
So, Hardsey, what's your thoughts on this here?
I think they need to give Fantilli the puck more and only let him shoot. Only let Fantilli shoot the puck, because eventually one will go in.
Right.
But he's like I said, he's one of the brightest stars on that team, and I think he is too good for the Blue Jackets. He's too good. He's unstoppable, man. He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's genuinely, I think he has the potential to be a 50, 60 goal scorer.
Yeah. I could see him cracking 100 points.
So,
which
he will. It's gonna happen. Remember
so
this.
Marchenko tied second most points in a single season for the Blue Jackets with Panarin with was that 82 points?
That was Werenski did that.
Or Werenski. So sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Werenski did that.
So
Marchenko had a hell of a season though.
Well, no, it was the second time in Blue Jackets history that they had 2 guys score at least 30 goals in a season. That the first time that happened, it was Boone Jenner and Brandon Saad who did that. And then obviously this season, it was Adam Fantilli and Kirill Marchenko who both got 31 goals. So that's cool.
Well, and then Werenski, didn't he also get a tie for the most assists in a single season?
No, he
tied with Panarin for most assists. I think 59.
Tied for second in Blue Jackets. So, like, how the record book was this? It was basically like Panarin, and then Werenski, and then
this
Werenski
is for assists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think Werenski got that record. I think.
No, well, according to the article by Jeff Svoboda,
now did he tie it?
He tied it. Yeah.
He tied.
Which is, I mean, that's a defenseman tying a forward.
Yeah. But
anyway, sorry. Continue.
The record I was talking about is that the most points in a season, it was like Panarin, and then Werenski tied Panarin in the second spot with 82. Yeah. No, that's that. So that's cool. But continuing on with the whole Adam Fantilli theme, saw this on Twitter from Big Head Hockey. Adam Fantilli is the first person in his draft class to score at least 30 goals in a season.
Damn. That's sick. Because, okay, so how many, I gotta, just to be kind of a dick about it, I gotta look this up real quick. Let's go to and check out the other 2 top draft picks from that draft class. Let's see, Chicago. Ooh, they don't have many points this last year. Let's see, Connor Bedard, 23. 23 goals this last
Who
season.
the hell is Connor Bedard?
Some guy who, I mean, I think he plays on Nick Foligno's team.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, help me with the other name. I feel so dumb. Leo Carlson.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Leo Carlos?
Some
Never
guy,
heard
he
of
was
these
banished
guys.
to the
Are you
West
sure
Coast.
these aren't like
He got 20 goals this
fantasy-created
season,
players?
Yeah.
so that's cool. I mean, they're
Are you
absolutely talented guys. They're just, haven't scored as many goals as the
And-
other guy.
and I know Leo Carlson's a good player and everything, but it just, I still have this feeling. It's like he's never really gotten the same amount of attention that Connor Bedard and Adam Fantilli has got. Because I remember going into that draft, it was like, oh, Connor Bedard, and like Adam Fantilli this, Adam Fantilli that. And I will fully admit this. When the Blue Jackets, they had the second best, one of the best odds. They were at number 2 and they dropped down to 3 at the draft lottery. I was like, shit, we're not going to get Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli. And I don't even mean this in a disrespectful way to Leo Carlson. Like, if the Blue Jackets had gotten him, good player, would have been okay with that. But it's just like, oh, crap, we're not going to get Fantilli or Bedard. And then when obviously the Ducks pick Leo Carlson and the Blue Jackets get Adam Fantilli, it's like, yes, let's go. Yeah. Like, whoa. So that's the thing, because Leo Carlson, he could very well go on and having a good career. But as of right now, it just feels like he just doesn't get much attention. And most of the attention is like on Connor Bedard and, Adam Fantilli.
Yeah, well, that'll happen with some of the West Coast teams too, or like out of division, out of the same conference and everything like that. So, I'm sure he's talked about a lot more in the when talking about those other teams.
May I just throw my theory in there?
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Maybe
Hart.
it's because Leo Carlson plays for the shitty fuck ass Ducks. He's not getting the attention. This team sucks, dude. These fucking sucks. He's like, and then he ends up playing for the Zegras team, and everything is about Trevor Zegras, and then he flips the
That's
puck
true
and
too.
do the mission.
And
It's fucking Ducks.
And Hefty Duck, you do bring up a good point there, is that, Shohei Ohtani, one of the best players in baseball, but because he plays for the Dodgers, he probably doesn't get as much as attention as he would if he played on a Midwest team or East Coast team, because most people are going to bed when Dodgers games start. It's probably a similar thing with the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean they had an 80-point season, and I didn't really hear anything from them hardly at all.
Because they stink. They stink. They fucking suck.
I mean,
Torts
at
is
least
going
they
to
didn't
coach
have a
that team
52.
next season. I'm one.
Oh, can you imagine him and Zegras?
Oh my God, Zegras is out of there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
We have hired Trevor Zegras up. Trevor Zegras
Yeah.
is gone if Torts goes to the Ducks.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Trevor Zegras will never hit another Michigan as long as he lives.
He won't score ever again. Like, he's not even touching the puck, brother.
No. If he does, he's getting yanked out of the game probably.
He's
Anyway.
getting benched.
Now, interesting enough, you brought up a Michigan goal. So I saw this from Michigan Hockey, and they posted it on their Twitter page. Don't you just love seeing players hit the Michigan? We do. And then I thought about that. Like, yes, I do. Like that time that Kent Johnson did it for the Blue Jackets, which was awesome. So, hey, Michigan Hockey, I agree with you there. It is cool when players hit the Michigan, like Kent Johnson did for the Blue Jackets. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Just throwing that one out there. So, on to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is this. The Blue Jackets are expected to sign one of their Russian defenseman prospects. I don't know how to say this. I'm going to try. I think it's Nikolai Makarov.
Looks like it sounds right.
I probably screwed that up, and so sorry, but oh well. And Union and Blue, they had an article about him, and so So we're going to read just a little bit what they have to say about them. Nikolai Makarov is a depth prospect for the Blue Jackets. A left shot defenseman, maybe a long shot, roll of the dice, but he has size and plenty of potential. So let's see here. It says players picked in the late round often have one or more big question marks about them. That usually makes them a late round pick. After all, in the case of Nikolai Markov, the big question mark comes from his place of birth. Being Russian makes it hard for NHL teams to gauge if or when a player might come to North America. The KHL has been known to make it difficult for NHL teams to pry away talent. They'll throw big money to keep young players or do anything else to their power to prevent a transfer. Let's see here. Right here. Markov has good size, 6'1", 195, and is steady physical a steady physical presence on defense. There's not a ton of upside here, but that's fine. He often chooses just to make smart, simple plays to get the team out of danger rather than trying to do too much with the puck. I think he's a fringe prospect, but he does have NHL upside because of his skating, his gap control, and physicality. He's good at timing defensive plays, getting himself inside positioning, and breaking up chances against. This sounds a pretty good return for a guy taken in the 5th round, 132 overall at the 2021 NHL draft. It also may sound familiar because he's following a eerily similar trajectory to former Blue Jacket Vladislav Gavrikov. The team was patient with Vlad, and by the time he did come over, he stepped right into the lineup and played valuable second pairing minutes for the Jackets. With that said, I don't think Markov has that same kind of potential. I don't see him bringing as much offense. More likely, he'll develop to a 5'6", 7th guy who eats up minutes against teams' bottom 6 forwards. He should be able to play some penalty kill minutes. All that is assuming if he does come over, which according to the reports, he will. This is a case of wait and see for the Blue Jackets. So overall, based off of this article by Union and Blue, the basic idea is he is got some size, big defenseman, and he's good defensively. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes and where he fits into the Blue Jackets, because honestly, we could use more defensemen besides like a Zach Werenski or a Provorov or a Gabranson or someone like Jay Christensen or someone like that who makes good plays defensively and is smart defensively, because at times, unfortunately, that is not Damon Severson. At times he's good defensively. At times he is good defensively, but then at times he just has a brain fart and makes a play that he probably shouldn't. And then he does make that play, even though he shouldn't make the play. And then sometimes that puck is in the net, unfortunately. So we could use someone that's also good defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes and what we get from Nikolai Markov. Now,
they're going to need to start ushering in that young group here soon.
Yes. So this is probably true because this is reported from Russian media. Reports CSKA's Nikolai Makarov intends to sign with the Blue Jackets. Eyes NHL breakthrough. This is from April 15th, 2025. So more likely than not, this is probably true because this is from Russian media. Says CSKA Moscow defenseman Nikolai Makarov is reportedly on his way to the NHL. According to RG sources, the 22-year-old is set to sign a 2-year contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets. The 2-year deal will begin next season. It says he was selected by Columbus in the 5th round, 132 overall, the 2021 NHL draft. Makarov had a split between CSKA and its VHL affiliate. So the VHL is basically the minor league version of the KHL over in Russia. He appeared in 11 regular season games in the KHL, finishing with a -1 rating, but no points. In the VHL, he played a larger role, registering 12 points, 4 goals, 8 assists across 41 games. Had 2 assists in 7 playoff appearances. Though his minor league team failed to advance past the first round. Zvezda, I'm not even going to try pronouncing that. I tried, it just no. So his team. Let's see here. The young blue liner informed CSKA that he will not renew his contract and intends to continue his career in North America. According to RG sources, the decision surprised the club, which remains cautious in its assessment of Markov's NHL potential. A left shot defenseman with solid vision, physicality, and strong gap control, Makarov has seen his potential bottom pairing defenseman at the NHL, particularly on the penalty kill. Let's see here. Well, he was part of CSK's Gagarin Cup winning team, so that's cool. Some good playoff experience. Played with Russia in the World Championship. Got a silver there. Let's see here. Looks like he's got good communication skills here because it says, I quote, I can live without training. When you get really tired, there's kind of euphoria. He told the KHL's official website, the atmosphere of the game and the emotion from the fans brings incredible joy. Hockey teaches you to stand your ground, show character, and work within the team. This was done by Daria Torboltseva. I probably screwed that name up, but it's done by someone in the Russian media. So there you go. So this is probably true that the Blue Jackets are signing Russian defenseman prospect Nikolai Makarov to a 2-year deal. And he is a big physical defenseman who's good at defense. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And if that turns out to be true, it's probably true that the Blue Jackets are signing Russian defenseman prospect Nikolai Makarov to a 2-year deal. So any thoughts on this, Hefty Duck?
No, I mean, you've pretty much covered everything. I don't really know anything about this guy. So, hopefully it works out.
Yeah. I know you don't really pay attention much to this, Hartsey, so I get that, but do you have anything to say? I mean, Flyers recently pulled over Michkov, too, from Russia.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young Russians that are, well, I'm not sure if there's a lot, but there's quite a few that are definitely itching to try out at least the North American style of hockey, which, I mean, great. It's definitely for true that it's hard for, Russian talent to come over to, North America to play, not even considering like all everything that's happening there, but like yeah, they definitely do try to like hoard their talent as much as they can because it's I feel like every hockey player's dream is to play in the NHL or somewhere close to playing in the NHL. So I think,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he'll be a valuable piece of the Blue Jackets, or at least, if he does come through, he might play for Cleveland. So he might be, but, yeah, a big physical defenseman. I feel like every team needs one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think it'll be a good pickup eventually, when he eventually does come over. I think it'll be I think he'll, enjoy his time over here.
Yeah.
Or at least over there.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to go past Pennsylvania to get to Ohio. Maps.
Yeah. Well, if he is going to have to get on a plane to fly to Columbus, and that means that he would be flying over Pennsylvania to get to Columbus.
That's for true.
Okay, so I'm not going to play this for copyright reasons, but again, I've been watching this video a lot recently, which is before the Blue Jackets outdoor game. There was a pep rally there, and it was fun. OAR, which, pops a well-known band. People like them, and they're from Columbus, and they went to school at Ohio State, and they played music at the pep rally before the Blue Jackets outdoor game. And the Ohio State band was there, and they played some music. And then they also played along with OAR. And in this video, OAR plays some of their music with the Ohio State band, and it's fun. And I've been watching this video a lot and listening to it because I was at this pep rally, and it was awesome. Like, the Blue Jackets went onto the stage and, kind of waved to the crowd, got the people pumped up, and it was just, man, it was just a lot of fun. And I go back to watching this video a lot to listen to them. It was good music and just all the good memories that I had that day from the Blue Jackets outdoor game. Last week's show, I recommended that you watch the 21 Pilots performance that that 21 Pilots did at the Blue Jackets outdoor game, which was awesome. And this week's show, I'm now recommending that you go watch the OAR performance at the pep rally before the Blue Jackets outdoor game, because I was there and it was awesome. So check it out. So just throwing it out there. Check this out. Now, on to the next thing. Zach Werenski has been picked for his a little nomination for the King Clancy Trophy, which is a leadership award both on and off the ice. So shout out to Zach Werenski for getting nominated as the Blue Jackets representative for the King Clancy Trophy Award. So shout out to Zach Werenski.
Hell yeah.
Anything to say here or no?
Don't forget that Monahan was nominated for the Masterton Award.
That's right. That's right.
But congrats to Werenski. I mean, he's was it Norris decided already?
No.
I don't remember. They wait until like the actual awards ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw a graph today showing that basically if you go by like money, I think raised for whatever their charities or whatever it is, Werenski would be in second with like a little over 10 million, which is huge. Second to Cale Makar, who is the favorite for the Norris. But yeah, top 3 defensemen this year as far as points and everything goes. Basically, Cale Makar number 1, Zach Werenski number 2. To say that you have the literally the second best defenseman in the entire NHL is insane to really think about. I mean, I think he's every good as good as Cale Makar, and then Quinn Hughes running up behind them at third. But yeah, no, I'd love to see it. Hopefully, he can get some sort of awards for the season he had this year. It was an amazing season for him.
Yep. So on to the next thing, which is this. The Twitter user Blue Jack Attack did this cool graphic that has all of the guys who won the donkey hat this season for the Blue Jackets. And who won it the most? It was Adam Fantilli who won the donkey hat 5 times.
Oh yeah.
And as you can see on the graphic, it says Fantilli 5, Olivier 4. Then you got 3 guys with 3, Justin Danforth, Jet Greaves, Krill Marchenko, and then you have Boone Jenner, Kent Johnson, Elvis Merzlikins, Sean Monahan, James Van Riemsdyk, Dmitry Voronkov winning it twice. And then we have Zach Aston Reese, Jake Christensen, Dante Fabro, Eric Branson, Joseph Labate, Denton Matejchuk, Mikhail Putia, Owen Sillinger, Zach Wierenski, and Jack Williams all winning it once. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Zach Wierenski only won it once this season. The way he was playing this season, he should have gotten more, but that's just me.
Well, everyone stepped up so huge, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost because like his excellence is just like expected, maybe,
Yeah.
and like so when other people really stand out in the game. No, I'm kind of joking about that a little bit. It's expected from everyone, but yeah, like it's just like, well, yeah, it's just Wierenski being Wierenski.
Right. Yeah, that's just how it went this season, so it is what it is. Not making a big issue about it, but the way Wierenski played, Zach Wierenski played this season, I kind of felt like that he should have gotten the donkey hat more than once. But on the flip side of that, I'm not surprised that Adam Fantilli got the donkey hat the most this season because, well, he played really good this season. So I can see why, different Blue Jackets players would feel the need to give him the donkey hat.
Yep.
Hartsey, do you have anything to say about this?
Oh boy, what do I have to say about this? I mean, it's definitely good to see, like when you see something like this, knowing the boys are having fun,
Yeah.
and just showing everybody who's been the star of the game for, all the fellas in the locker room.
Yeah.
And, obviously it's also a way of paying respect because, unfortunately with the situation. But yeah, I think, this is honestly a little interesting tidbit here to look at.
Right. So,
It's
all
weird
right.
Only Werenski only got one though. That should be like
I know.
20.
Yeah. It happens though. All right. So, next thing I would like to share is we all know that to finish the last 6 games, Elvis Merzlikins did not play. The Blue Jackets would not say why he was hurt. All they said was, "Oh, it was an injury." That's it. And in the event that the Blue Jackets made the playoffs, this would have been a potential issue that they would have had to face is what happens if you can't use Elvis Merzlikins and Jack Greaves. He is on emergency recall, but you can only play him so much and you have to put him down eventually because it's not like a normal recall. So it's like, oh boy, what would have the Blue Jackets had done in that situation? I don't know, but we'll never know because they never had to face that issue. But we now know why Elvis Merzlikins was not playing in those last 6 games because in a press conference at the end of the season, Elvis Merzlikins said that he had a concussion. So that's why. Do we know why he has a concussion? No. But if I had to take a guess on why he has a concussion, I would say that he probably has a concussion because of those 2 games in April against Ottawa, where he took some shots up high right on the mask. And it's not just that he took shots up high in the mask, like he took like slap shots up high in the mask. And like you could see it, like you watch on those during those games, you watch it on the replay, like the shots, Senators players shoot the puck, slap shot, it hits Merzlikins hard in the helmet, and like it kind of took Merzlikins out for a bit. Like it took him some time to settle down and just, get his bearings straight. But once he did, he was fine for the rest of both games and played good games there. But then the second time it happened was the home game against the Senators. And when that happened, there was this crack that happened in the goalie helmet. And he had to go to the bench and get a new helmet and put that on. So, in my opinion, if I had to take a guess on why Elvis Merzlikins has a concussion, I would say that he probably has a concussion because of those 2 games against Ottawa where he took just real hard shots right to the mask.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So that's why Elvis Merzlikins didn't play any of the remaining 6 games, because he had a concussion. So just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, I hope he's feeling better soon. I mean, especially at the end of the season, that sucks.
Right. Now, on to the next thing. The Blue Jackets set a new record for most goals scored in a season with 267. The previous record was 258. So the Blue Jackets set a new record for most goals scored in Blue Jackets history with 267 goals, which honestly is really not that surprising, considering the fact that one of the strengths of what the Blue Jackets were good at this season was scoring goals. They were top 10 in the NHL in scoring goals. They were the best team scoring 5-on-5 goals. Just, one of the best teams at home scoring goals, one of the best teams scoring goals at home on the power play. So it's not necessarily surprising that the Blue Jackets set a new record for most goals scored in Blue Jackets history.
Hell yeah.
Hefty Duck, anything to say about this?
Oh, that's just really cool. It's crazy that we have a record-setting season when that's just crazy to me.
Yeah. Hartsey, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, it definitely seemed like they were scoring at will in some games. There are a lot of 6-goal games. I've
Yes.
noticed that every time I come on here, we're talking about a game where the Blue Jackets scored a freaking touchdown on their opponent.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not shocked that they would break a record, like this. They're good at putting the puck in the net.
Yeah. And you bring up the whole scoring 6 goals thing, Hartsey. The Blue Jackets did that 15 times this season, where they scored 6 goals.
See, those are big numbers, brother.
Yeah.
Nobody, yeah, who the hell else is putting 6 goals in the net 15 times out of an 82 game schedule? That's like what? What's that percentage wise?
I'm not good at math, so I don't know.
Somebody crunch some numbers for me so I can figure out the percentage of that. The goal differential has to be in the thousands. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's just ridiculously good. So Blue Jackets set a new record for most goals scored in Blue Jackets history with 267 67 goals. So that's cool. Let's see here. Gonna share this now. So this is from Tyvis Powell. He was an Ohio State football player, and he also does stuff for 97.1 The Fan. And he recently put this out, said Adam, and he was at a Blue Jackets game recently as well. It was the game where the Blue Jackets beat Nashville 8-4. And, he had a great time, and he posted about it on his Twitter page. And so on his Twitter page, he posted, Adam Fantilli may possibly be the only Wolverine I can root for. Can't hate on a guy like that, LOL. And there's a lot of people responding to his tweet saying, well, but also Kent Johnson and Zach Werenski and Jack Johnson. So that is also my response to Tyvis Powell is that, yes, go Bucks, Ohio State, awesome. I like Ohio State and don't really like Michigan, but if you're cheering for the Blue Jackets, which you are, you got to cheer. You're going to have to cheer for the Michigan guys, not just one, which is Adam Fantilli, Jack Johnson, Kent Johnson, and Zach Werenski. So that's just how it is. You can like Ohio State and not like Michigan, but when you're cheering for the Blue Jackets, you're gonna have to cheer for the Blue Jackets Michigan guys. So that's just how it is. If Hefty Duck or Hearts, if you have anything to say about this.
Not really.
No.
Good to see some positive talk. That's really all I got.
Yeah.
It's good to see some positives, some good vibes coming from those Ohio State fellers.
That's right.
It's funny that they chose to post this on April 1st of 2025.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't mean it. And April Fools, sucker.
He posted this during the gate. He posted this during the Blue Jackets Nashville game. So.
Oh.
Well, I was kind of referring to he's just finding this out now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do a little, I'm not going to show the video, but I'm going to do a little preview of what I'm going to share next week, which is, So the Blue Jackets recently posted this video, and it's Jody Shelley interviewing John H. McConnell II, who is the son of John H. McConnell, who is the son of the original Blue Jackets owner, Mr. Mack. And the basic idea of this video is that it's Jody Shelley interviewing John H. McConnell II to basically talk about all the stuff that he's been doing with the Blue Jackets, and that eventually John H. McConnell II will eventually become the new owner for the Blue Jackets. That his dad is helping him, become the owner for the Blue Jackets, and it's a transition process and just showing him how things are done and what you have to do when you are the owner of the Blue Jackets. So there's some stuff in this video that I like and I want to share it, but I'm going to save it for next week's show. So consider this a teaser of what the future owner of the Blue Jackets has to say about running the Blue Jackets and what he has planned for the Blue Jackets and what he wants to do to take the Blue Jackets to the next level and try and get the Blue Jackets a Stanley Cup. So I thought that was cool.
Hell yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Now, on to this one right here. Oh, yeah, I put it up on the screen. Put it on your bingo card. Kevin didn't put it up on the screen. There you go. I do it once a show, so there you go. Anyways, so as you can see on the screen, this is from Dom Lashuskin. I think I said that right. Sorry, Dom, if I screwed up your name. But he recently put a post out of top 20 centers according to his analytics, which is this. Sean Monahan made the top 20 in the analytics for top 20 centers this season. So just wanted to share that. Shout out to Sean Monahan for making top 20 centers in the NHL according to the analytics from Don Lashuskin. So that's cool. Now, on to the next thing, which is this. So, it says that this season, total crowds at the NHL games have topped 23 million for the first time.
Damn.
And, just so happens that they use a picture of the Blue Jackets outdoor game. And
Yeah,
it's
obviously that helped, but still,
yeah.
damn.
I mean, when you have an outdoor game, Blue Jackets, Red Wings at Ohio State, and you have over 94,000 people at that game, yeah, that's going to help you get to the 23 million number. Yeah, that's going to help. So, just throwing that one out there. Hartsey or FD Duck, anything to say about this?
Yeah, even still with that game or not, that's huge numbers. When you take away that game, that's still a massive amount of people who showed up in the team after having a really rough off season. So I love seeing that. I love seeing the community. I mean, I've seen the players doing like their exit interviews kind of and talking about how great the fan base is and this and that. And it's like, but like actually, I mean, when you take a look at like how everyone came together at the beginning of the season and how they stuck together too. And just really great to see it. Love to see it.
Hartsey, do you have anything to say about this? Hartsey?
He gone.
Well, he's on the screen. I think he's muted, though.
Yeah, he's muted.
All right. Well, I'll try one more time. Hartsey, do you have anything to say about this?
Okay. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right. So we got some gold clips to share, and then we'll get out of here. So, which is this is the game against the Flyers. The Blue Jackets are up 1-0. That's in the second period, and Kent Johnson scores a goal on the power play. And again, like I said earlier on in the show, this season the Blue Jackets were not really good scoring goals on the power play at home. I don't get why, because they were good scoring goals on the power play at home. It is what it is. So for the Blue Jackets to get a goal on the power play on the road is big. So that's what this is. It's a goal that the Blue Jackets scored by Kent Johnson on the power play on the road, and I'm going to play it. So, face off, and it's going to be kind of a little scrum, and the Blue Jackets are going to get it. It's going to go, I think, up to like Werenski, Monahan. Looks like he's going to shoot it, but then the last moment, he's going to pass it over here to Kent Johnson and shoot and score. like look like he could shoot it and then boom, pass it over to Kent Johnson open, and Kent Johnson is gonna shoot and score. So overall, pretty good goal here by the Blue Jackets. Look, look, come on in. He could shoot it, but then awesome pass to Kent Johnson, and it's kind of a hard shot because if he doesn't shoot it right, it could get blocked or goalie could stop it, but good shot by Kent Johnson, and it goes in. So, Hefty Duck, what you're thinking here on this goal here?
Pretty sick goal. Yeah, always love seeing Kent Johnson. I mean, he's going to be a big, huge part of this team in the coming years. So we'll love to see it.
Yep. So that was Kent Johnson's goal right here. We'll let this go through, and then we'll move on to the next goal here. Boom. Awesome goal there by Kent Johnson. So there we go. Now, on to the next. You know what? Let's see here. Where? You know what? After Duck, I want you to talk about some stuff because I got to plug in my computer first. Then we'll do the clip.
All right. So, Blue Jackets had a couple amazing things happen this year. So I'm going to talk real quick about some players who have shown up around the league and the tops leaderboards here. So I already mentioned Marchenko being 35th overall with 74 points, and Zakharensky being in the top 4 points as well. But then also Johnson and Monahan are in the top 100 for points. Adam Fantilli in the top 40 for goals. And then the Blue Jackets had 5 players in the top 100 for goals this season. Now, granted, that's a lot of ties, and they don't count ties as like, oh, you tied for second. No, it just goes 1, 2, 3, all the way down up to 100 there. So, one of the highest ranked stat for anybody this year was Matthew Olivier. He had the second most penalty minutes in the NHL, 139 penalty minutes. Nikita Zadorov was number 1 with 145. So, 3 more minors, and Olivier would have gotten the tide for Zadorov. But
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
At one point, real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
At one point, Marchenko had the number 1 plus minus for like weeks on end, and he ended up being number 18th with a plus 29.
Yeah. All right. So on to the next clip. The Blue Jackets are up 5-1 in the third period. Like I said earlier in the show, the Islanders, they have the puck in their defensive zone, and it looks like they're going to get it out. But then Fantilli makes a good defensive play, takes the puck away from the Islanders player, and he shoots and scores. It was a snipe. Awesome goal. Great shot by Adam Fantilli. And we're going to play the goal. So here it is. So here we go. The Islanders, they have the puck in their defensive zone, and it looks like they're probably going to get it out. And then here's Fantilli, a good poke check, good defensive play. Takes the puck. He's got the puck, and he's going to shoot and score. So overall, good goal, good play by Adam Fantilli, good defensive play to poke check the dude, take the puck away from him, and then shoot and score. Just awesome goal. This snipe. Look here. Like again, looks like he's got it. Gonna get it out. looking pretty good. And then, there's Fantilli, a little poke check right there. Van Riemsdyk with a nice pass to Adam Fantilli. And Fantilli shoots and scores. So pretty good goal there. Hefty Duck, your thoughts on this goal here?
Pretty solid. I kind of laughed when I saw this one in person. Not in person, sorry. Like in real time. I mean,
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the Islanders in a little bit of a way. They've it's not been an easy season for them, but it hasn't been an easy season for the Blue Jackets in like the last like half of decade. So you know what? Screw them. Love to see it.
Oh, Hartsey, I heard you talk.
Yeah,
We asked you a question.
So, Hartsey, so have you been paying? It's okay. So, your thoughts on this goal here?
Yeah, that just shows me that the Islanders stink like shit. They stink. They suck. This team sucks.
So
yeah, well, they are a team from New York.
That's for true.
So we'll play this one more time, and Archie, now that we got you back, I want to get your thoughts on the 23 million number for the NHL attendance. So we'll get that.
Like
we'll get that in
total.
So here we go. So this year, for attendance wise, the NHL has topped 23 million in total this season. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a growing sport. It's a sport that has to, ticket sales are pretty important. So, and you got some pretty devoted fans in some of these markets. So I think, obviously, you're going to get some big numbers there. And they deserve some big numbers.
And
because the sport is great. It's if you guys haven't, if anyone watching this, if you haven't been to a hockey game, open your wallets and buy some tickets.
What are you doing watching us? And
hey.
Open your wallets. Go to your local hockey game. It doesn't matter if it's NHL or if it's a minor league team or a junior team. Go watch a hockey game. You deserve it.
That's right.
That's right. It's a fun sport to watch, and it's only getting better, brother.
That's right.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's right. I do want to give a shout out to the Reds here, because yesterday they took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore. And not only did they take 2 out of 3 from Baltimore, but yesterday they beat the Baltimore Orioles 24-2. Yes, you heard that right. You heard that right. The Cincinnati Reds beat the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore 24-2 yesterday. Absolutely smoked them. So shout out to my favorite baseball team, the Cincinnati Reds, for an absolutely domination of the Baltimore Orioles and smoking them 24-2.
Yep. The Baltimore Orioles both deserve that.
I'm an Orioles fan.
What?
So it sucks. The Orioles, that's my second
Orioles.
team.
I thought you said Oilers for a second. I was like, dude, we're talking about baseball for a quick hot minute. Speaking of, it's bottom of the 8th inning. Guardians are up 6-4 on the Yankees. And
but it was overall it was a good weekend for Ohio baseball, because the Reds took 2 out of 3 and the Guardians sweep Pittsburgh. So it's all good. It's all good.
Hell yeah.
Dogs. Yeah, screw Pittsburgh. All right, so let me see here. Do I have anything else to share? I don't think I do. I'm just going to take a quick check if there is anything to share. Let's see here. I'll share this. So the Blue Jackets posted this cool graphic when Adam Fantilli scored his 30th goal. So I thought this was cool. So I just wanted to share this cool picture of Adam Fantilli and 30 goals, even though he got 31 because he scored one against the Islanders. But, when he scored his 30th, the Blue Jackets posted this cool graphic. So I thought I would share that. So, anyways, that is, I think that is it. Is that it? Yeah, yes. That's from all right. From a sharing perspective, that's all we got. So, we'll share our stuff and get out of here. So, you should totally like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. So, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. As always, got to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Wish you were still here so I could talk hockey with you and, family parties and get-togethers like, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and so much more. And would have been nice for you to still be here so that I could talk to you about what your thoughts are on how the Blackhawks season went, because you like the Blackhawks, and I could tell you my thoughts on how the Blue Jackets season went. And, you like the Blackhawks, but you became a big Blue Jackets fan as your number 2 team because of me. And that's awesome. Thank you for that. But wish you were still here, but you're not. So wish you were still here, but, oh well. But thank you for everything, Uncle Doc. Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, rest in peace, Uncle Doc.
And then one last, my last thing I'll promote is check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed group that I do. We do marches to cheer on the Blue Jackets and so much more. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So that's it for now. Hearts, if you got anything to say, this is your time.
All right, boys. Great show today, obviously. But I gotta give a shout out to my CTE brethren, Owen and Wyan, Bjorkswagen Bruins Wyan. Absolute beauties. Give a shout out to Claude Giroux, Ottawa Senators forward Claude Giroux, former Flyer, cheering for him and former Flyer Scott Lawton in the playoffs this year. Looking to win some things. So, just cheering for my former Flyers here. And
Oh yeah.
check out the FHL. Give us a look. We all have teams here. You
That's
got
true.
Lance's Whalers. You got Kevin's Falcons. I almost said Stingers. But, check out my socials. I got Matt V. Mitchkov's Discord kitten on X, formerly known as Twitter, or whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays. And that's all I got to say about that, Sean. Speaking of shout out to John Cena for finishing his story. Ruining wrestling.
Hell yeah. Well, hell yeah, fellas. Appreciate y'all being here today. And yeah, as Kevin said, don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching that from. If you're watching us from Twitter, if you're watching us from YouTube, check out our links in our bio. Follow us wherever we're at. And we'll be back here again next week. We're going back to Sunday. We'll be here Sunday evening at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And for the foreseeable future, we'll be there. Maybe something will come up here and there throughout the summer. But we do not quit. We do not take a break. Just because the season is over does not mean our season is over. So we'll be coming at you here. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about this past season a little bit more. We're going to be going into a little more detail, a little bit more in-depth analysis of the players, their stats, and what we're going to be looking forward to next year. Kind of, we're going to be doing like some player grades, season grades and stuff like that. So, stay tuned for it, and we'll see you here soon. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.